Sometimes things happen to others, and then I feel like they've happened to me. And in that situation, one must simply put on one's birthday hat and soldier onward, for death is never far at hand from the foot of God. I feel like this is anamorphosizing your animals here, but that's okay, because wings do cause people to splat and hit the ground. Well, not directly, but you know what I'm talking about. This wall reminds me of a wall that we used to have when I used to live in another house when I was young. It was a clay wall that was eroding and very disgusting. And it really made one ponder the mysteries of the worm, also of life and of clay. Not death, because clay is not really the same thing. I mean, it's similar to death, but it isn't. Because, you know, Crank and Flay had a son named Clay. And when you have a son, that's kind of closer to life than it is to death, unless, of course, it's stillborn, but we don't talk about that. I've already forgotten how to do things. But that's okay, because the dawn shall take us all. Oh boy, I cannot wait to see the second version of the Hobbit series, by which I mean the second film, because I just watched the extended edition a few days ago, and I am a fan of Middle-earth, as Peter Jackson imagines it, and I don't care how long it takes to get anything done. The longer they spend in Middle-earth, the better, and I literally don't even care what happens. As I feel this is rather linear, because it really wants me to go in here. I have no choice but to obey the commands of the Grim Reaper. But perhaps I cannot, except I can. Is this one that I have done before? Why, yes. How odd. I don't know why I'm back here doing a thing that I've done before already. Well, that's that. I seem to have made a grave miscalculation. But then, that always happens because kids go to school and have to learn math. Which is kind of like having to learn how to hunt saber-toothed tigers. But nobody asked for my opinion. It says it's loading, but it's clearly finished. I cannot wait for the dawn to come, so that I can go back home to my suspiciously stereotypical housewife who looks oddly like a government man come from the government, and eat some delicious pie. Don't misread that, if you please. But you know, when it comes to collecting fireflies, what you can do is to send them out in a rocket ship into the stars, so that they become stars, and then they can birth the entire worlds, or something. What I'm saying may not be scientifically accurate, but I do hope that it is at least poetic, and has some semblance of nicety about it. Apparently I cannot go down there. I should probably investigate the shed. I have been warned to stay away from such things, but I just can't do it, as I keep being a glutton for punishment and evil and brain break, which is like heartbreak, except instead of making you stop being in love, it makes you stop being in Spock. I don't really know what I'm saying, but that's not really new, is it? If you wanted something new, you might as well just go else place. Oh, I thought that was floating. It's not. It's a torch. Torches don't float. And I don't know where to go now. Perhaps I can go through the Hexen gates into the realm of the Lord of Chaos himself. Except I seem to be being blocked, so perhaps I should just become clueless again, so that I can be educated in the ways of the horrible, horrible, horrible world, and start to believe in a filthy lie, and then become a proper adult who can do anything, including thinking he can't, and attend social events whose whole purpose is to have large crowds gallivanting about the place, but still knowing that this is not the kind of thing that I really enjoy, but nevertheless going there anyway so that I can feel capable of being utterly unremarkable and having nothing special about me whatsoever. I think I'll bash this gate down now. Perhaps I'm supposed to pull it towards me. I've solved a diabolical puzzle and licked Satan right in the nose. Actually licked. Not like the ye old term for beating the snot out of, but actually the creepy version of what you thought that I was saying. Why am I playing this, you might wonder finally now after 15,000 minutes of me playing it? Why am I not playing Thief, or the Dark Mod, or even Psychonauts, or something? Well, it's because I feel quite odd today, and rather than just speaking my mind, I thought that I would talk some absolute bullshit, as I normally do, instead of just being real, dog. But nevertheless, as long as we can laugh, the world will continue to be roughly the shape of a sphere, although if you're trying to be scientifically accurate, that is not 100% correct. But it seems that the tragedy of the commons is that this village cannot be really experienced very well by me because I am a ball of metal and light and not a human. I cannot dig and farm and use a pickaxe to find gold, nor can I repair Gondolinian swords or any ordinary pleasures that people partake in villages, because I am just a piece of machinery of alien conceit. Feel pity on me, my friends. Feel all manner of fear and pity and lust. Maybe not that one, but I do have to say some kind of a word, don't I? Well, it looks like I'm already screwed. Because I cannot flip that thing by merely bumping against it. I must actually stand on it. And now it is the part of the game where I have to use my brain, thus precluding me from being poetic and stupid at all. But nevertheless, purple things go up and down. They go flibbledy-flop, and I, for one... What am I even saying? What I'm saying is so dumb that I'm just laughing at myself, and here I am back here in the place where I started, except kind of not. These puzzles are obviously going to ramp up and be very difficult, and I'm going to quite regret ever bothering to do them, except when I don't. Cats are graceful, except when they're not. Because nothing in the real world is perfect, because if it were, it would be pretty boring. Even though things can be pretty perfect for some substantial amount of time and not get boring, but that depends who you are, and no matter who you are, I suppose it will happen sooner or later, and in that case, you must invent, which is what humans are good at, supposedly. Except sometimes their inventions result in hilarious consequences that were kind of unforeseen, I guess. Such as the invention of the pencil sharpener. We all remember the horror that resulted from that one, I think. These puzzles are very different from the main quest, but so it goes with the universe and everything. Not with life, though. Life is very predictable and pretty boring. And that's why it must be spiced up with a goodly helping of murder and Nightmare Moon, which may or may not kind of imply the same thing. But only if you believe in fate. Well, We are near to the goal, but not really able to make use of it quite well enough. I believe that I must do something insane. But I don't really feel like using my head right now, so instead, I'm not going to. Sometimes I wonder what to choose to do with the limited amount of time that I have to record things for the internet for, even though I guess it's not that limited. But one might sometimes wonder if I should have taken on all the responsibilities that I have is agreeing to make music for a whole lot of people. It's quite silly and insane. And I also must do Let's Plays for the purpose of gaining enough extra income to buy 1 or 2 specks of dust more per month. But then other times I don't wonder that, because you see, I think different things at different times, and it's very annoying, in fact. Why isn't the land tilting? It's only me that can activate it on account of it being blue. I think that I understand now what might be happening here. I am guiding the sun so that it may almost touch an orange thing, but alas. Then sometimes I think, perhaps I should be more sarcastic and cynical. After all, most people are, and it sure is easy to be what most people are. It sort of gets you more relatability and you can not feel so lonely, but then sometimes I think that it isn't worth it. But sometimes I think things all the time, but that's very rarely that it happens. Mostly I just say sometimes a whole lot, and it's just really dumb and stupid sounding, but only occasionally. But one does wonder if peace and calm is really worth it when aggression is clearly a lot more exciting, as demonstrated by hip-hop music, and also by me constantly being arrogant in my rap and then being drawn towards being excessively humble in real life whenever someone says, "Oh, you are great," and I go, "Oh, no, I'm not great. I can't even solve a puzzle in a puzzle game." Other times, it comes to my mind that a motherboard that will not accept 2 sticks of RAM but will accept 1 stick is a motherboard that I need to be smacking in the face. So excuse me while I do that, because it is very, very important.